watch your hands. You should watch your mouth. Bitches press. I mean, it's a mouth to mouth. You see that?
So here's interesting. So at the State of the Union, Donald Trump made a push for war with Iran. And here it is, right? And it's under the guise of just same thing Dick Cheney and George Bush said, we can't let this Middle Eastern country get weapons of mass destruction. That's it. He's doing the exact same thing, and here it is.
They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference...
So that's the Democrats standing with the Republicans, many Democrats standing and cheering for the war in Iran. So why would they do that? Well, because they're owned by the same people, the same military-industrial complex, the same billionaires, the same shadow government that controls Donald Trump controls the Democrats. That's why. They all work for the WEF billionaires. New top Democrats are working behind the scenes to stop a vote on the Kana-Massi Iran War Powers Resolution, a vote that would force every member of Congress to go on the record over Trump's potential regime change war. So Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, the same two guys who got the Epstein files released, they had to pass a law, and they still haven't released it. Only half of the files got released. So I don't know how they could do that without going to prison. Well, because you need somebody in the Department of Justice to take them to prison. And, of course, Trump runs the Department of Justice right now. So there's no one there to prosecute them inside the government for breaking the law. So Massie and Khanna, they don't want to allow the president to unconstitutionally start another war. So they want to make it a law that they have to vote. The Congress has to take, because the Congress is the only one that has the ability to actually declare war, not the president. And so they want to make, but they've given that power away since 9/11 to the president. And now the president goes along and makes a war in Libya, anywhere he wants. Libya, the Sudan, Somalia, Syria, anywhere they want. Ukraine, Venezuela, Cuba, anywhere they want, they make a war. Okay, and so Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna want to make it that the Congress actually has to do their job and declare a war or not. They want to vote on a war, and the Democrats are blocking it. House Foreign Affairs Committee Democrats have been working behind the scenes to try to prevent a vote. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie's Iran War Powers Resolution, a measure that would require every member of Congress to go on the record about a potential U.S. war with Iran. So, hey, I'm not saying everyone that was, when all the Democrats that were standing or everybody that was standing for war in Iran, I'm not saying that everyone there is a PDF file. I'm just saying that they know that they're sitting right next to a PDF file and they don't do anything about it. And if the ones in charge tell them that they should go to war or be exposed, they will choose getting rid of the witnesses over admitting to the crime. The shortest distance between 2 points is a financially struggling Democrat. Keep that in mind. Top Democrat HFAC staffer, multiple sources with direct knowledge tell me deliberately inflated projections of opposition to the bipartisan measure, warning of 20 to 40 Democratic defections as part of a broader effort to dampen momentum and prevent the Iran War Powers vote from advancing. Khanna and Massie had initially planned to force a vote on the resolution this week, but Democratic leadership is now saying they expect the vote to be delayed until next week or even later. Oh, chagrin. I bet they're super upset about that. The postponement comes as the Trump administration accelerates preparations for unauthorized military action, overseeing the largest U.S. military buildup in the region in years. Khanna and Massey argue that Congress must weigh in before, not after, the U.S. is pulled into another regime change war in the Middle East. Their resolution would require... So they want to delay this vote until after Trump goes to war.
Oh.
They want to delay this vote until the Israel or the CIA does a false flag and blames it on Iran. They want to wait. Their resolution would require explicit congressional authorization for any military action against Iran, a vote that could become one of the most consequential foreign policy decisions in recent congressional history. So, looks like somebody's a little behind the times there. We don't need approval to go to war these days. Israel is our Grok, they're our GPS, and it tells us where to turn. A senior Democratic congressional staffer told me it's pretty clear Democratic leadership is working to delay or potentially sideline the vote on the Khanna-Massey war powers reduction resolution. That's the leadership. That would be Jeffries in the House, and who's the guy in the Senate?
Schumer.
Chuck Schumer in the Senate. And they both work for Wall Street, which works for the military-industrial complex, which works for the deep state, which works for the shadow government, which works for the WEF, international billionaires. If you've been around the Hill, this is a familiar playbook. Yes, this is a familiar playbook. Leadership rarely comes out and says they oppose these votes outright because they know the underlying issue is popular with the base, said the staffer who works on foreign policy. Instead, you see process concerns, timing objections, and caucus unity arguments used to slow things down or keep members off the record. We've seen the same approach on past war powers votes and foreign policy amendments that clash with the national security elite consensus. So if the national security elite consensus, meaning the deep state, the military-industrial complex, and the shadow government, if they want a war in Israel, then we get a war. It doesn't matter if it's not popular. It doesn't matter if having a vote on it is super popular with their base. You don't get what you want. This is not a democracy. This is an oligarchy, and you are fooled into thinking voting matters. The internal effort to sabotage momentum for the Iran war powers resolution reflects a broader strategic calculation among Democratic elites. As a recent DropSite report detailed, many top Democrats privately believe Iran will ultimately have to be confronted militarily. That's it. That's it. Nobody voted for this. Nobody voted for this. Nobody wants this. They spend all their money, time, and power trying to murder people and slaughter them in other countries instead of giving us health care, giving us good jobs, having our corporation, having our small businesses thrive, instead of investing in railroads and airports and streets and schools and hospitals here in the United States. They spend all their time and power doing the bidding of the military-industrial complex. That's why we have 1,000 military bases around the world. That's why Donald Trump wants to spend $1.5 trillion. We already spend 10 times more than the 10 countries combined next to us spend on their military. It's completely off the rails. Your national government, your federal government is completely out of control, off the rails. It's 100% corruption going right at you, and the people who have corrupted our government have corrupted your media too. And they've corrupted half the social media too. Why wouldn't they? But they also understand that openly backing another regime change war in the Middle East would be politically toxic. So they want a war, but they know that nobody in the country wants the war, the elites. So how do we get there? Well, false flag. That's how they get there. Poll after poll shows there is little to no appetite for war with Iran, including lukewarm support among conservatives. Even conservatives don't want it. The preferred outcome of many AIPAC-aligned Senate Democrats, according to a senior foreign policy aide to Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, is that Trump acts unilaterally, weakening Iran while absorbing the domestic backlash ahead of the. So they want this to be Trump's war. They don't want to have to take responsibility for it, but they don't want to have to step up and say they're for it. The War Powers vote threatens to disrupt that arrangement by forcing Democrats to declare publicly on the record whether they support giving Trump unilateral authority to wage war. So that's America's just a baggage handler for the greater Israel project. We are the ones dragging their stuff around, and whatever we do and wherever we go, we're the ones doing the bidding, and we're the baggage handlers for Israel. And you don't want to know what your tip is. Guess what? There's the House Democrat. That's the leader. He's in the tank for AIPAC. Chuck Schumer in the tank for AIPAC. The Dems want a war with Iran, but they know the Dems base doesn't. They want a war with Iran in Trump's name, so they won't get blamed for supporting the regime change, which they fully and wholly do. The Dems are right-wing trash. I hate to put it in those terms because I know lots of right-wingers that they just said in this same article, most conservatives don't want this war. So, I mean, I just hate to refer to it as left-wing, right-wing. This is us against them. This is the oligarchs against everybody else. This is the neocons. This is the international globalists. This is the military-industrial complex. These are the people who control Donald Trump. Donald Trump doing the bidding. That's what this is. So okay. There you go. The Democrats just as horrible as the Republicans. It's all theater. What's that saying that I always say? Everything's fake. Everything's a what?
Lie. That's why I don't comply.
Yeah, everything's fake. Everything's a lie. Everything's a psyop. That's why I don't comply. And if you'd like to hear my jokes about this, come see me in San Antonio, Albuquerque, Houston, Dallas, Salt Lake City, and then we're in Los Angeles at the Comedy Store, April 17th, and then April 19th, Las Vegas, Tulsa, Oklahoma City. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets, and don't go anywhere else because the cheapest tickets are at jimmydore.com. Over to Steph.
Oh, okay. Cornpop. If you want to know the truth about Christianity, you can check out Adam Green's book, The Jesus Deception, available on Amazon. Adam Green's book. Have a fantastic day. They bankers use wars to depopulate the earth on a cycle. The Zionists are starting the next great war. War forever, tariffs never. Giraffe Rider. Just because our government is killing and stealing around the world, you don't have to be down on them. Just go vote, Morty Duke. As long as Israel is safe, Jimmy, let's remember that. Kill a bee kid. Two parties both owned by AIPAC. That's by Mars Sneed's Max. Republican and Democrat parties are guilty of fraud and racketeering. Voting is useless. Stop voting. Well said, Jimmy. Look at you, Mac Truck. We need a new pie-in-the-face campaign, not a moment's peace for these pricks. Sound chaser, yes. That's the kind of thinking I'm liking. Pie-in-the-face campaign. Boy. Let's see this. Iranians must die so Democrats can win votes in November. P.W. Walker. Wow. Dark. Let's see here. What's just in? Pie in the face campaign. I love it. Thank you for that one, Sound Chaser. I missed something up top. Let's see. That one. Bravo, Misha. I thought I should read that one again. Bravo, Misha. All right, let's see. Give her a raise. We'll see. We'll think about it. All right, let's see. Making sure their cartels are like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, funded by the U.S. elites to destabilize the traffic drugs and weapons, then be scapegoat for intervention. You're right there, Edward. Okay. Have you seen the Black Sea pipeline attack Russia? Is the world reaching a tipping point soon? When you look at Iran, Cuba, Mexico, who else? There's got to be something better than war. What the F's wrong with us? You good, Jimmy? All right, let's see. Don't forget that all the Never Trumpers are now 100% behind Trump. That was from P.W. Walker. 10 years. Thanks, Jimmy. Nostradamus, Morty. All right, let's see here.
Okay.
All right. Oh, a short ice is also known in Chicago as Chester, as in Chester, child. Oh, gotcha. Back to Jimmy.